Hey guys, what's up? It is Ripe again, back with more revenge stories. If you haven't already, please don't forget to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/ripeyoutube for exclusive Reddit content. Without any further ado, let's dive right into the stories. And the first one is titled, Park in my spot, stay there forever. Hi there, first time poster. English is not my first language, so please be generous with typos and stuff. Here's my story. About a year ago, I was getting home after a long session of physical activity with my girlfriend. I was pretty tired, so the plan was get ass home, shower, lay on bed forever. Before I get to the point, I need to tell you a bit about the place I live in. And by the way guys, I already love this guy's English. I live in an apartment in a building kind of out of town. The building has two gates, a small one for people/bikes and a large one for cars. There are parking lots inside for residents, however, we often lament that there is not much room for parking cars inside. Just in front of the large gate there is a large area that can be accessed right from the street and is actually part of the property, so I have taken the habit of parking my car, a small one, just there on the side of the large gate. This way there's more room for the other residents inside and I don't need to carry the remote/key for the large gate, which I always lose anyway. For those that are just passing by, it is not really clear that the large area is actually part of the property, so people sometimes park there thinking it is a free space, but after we explain the situation, people always move without problems. However, we got tired of this, so we recently put some no parking signs inside the area and this stopped happening. Okay, so I was tired and in need of rest. I get home and I see a big van, some electric implant company, parked right in my spot. I usually don't get mad at these things, but I was tired and the guy parked right in front of the no parking sign. I can't park anywhere else since I would block the way in and out for the other residents, so I park in front of the large gate, get out of my car and approach the van. On the passenger seat there is a large lady, 2L, and I signed her to open the window. I kindly explained her that this is a private property and she needs to move the van. 2L: "But there's nowhere else to park." Me: "I'm sorry, but as I told you, this is a private property and I need to park here." 2L: "Why can't you park next to us?" Me: "It would block the way of the other residents. Isn't that obvious?" "Oh, so you live here? Then why don't you park inside?" At this point I would like everyone to notice that there's absolutely no need for me to explain why I cannot park inside. All she needs to know is that she is on private property and needs to go. Anyway, I explained the situation and she told me that the electrician, her husband, was making repairs in the building next to mine and in 5 minutes they were leaving. Now I am a bit pissed because I already know it is not going to be 5 minutes and I would have to go and up and down at least once to move the car, and if someone wanted to get in/out in the meanwhile, they would rightfully be mad at me. So I just leave the car there and go to my apartment. Thankfully I have a window which let me see just the entrance and can check if they are still there. After 15/20 minutes they are still there. I need to rest and I am pissed. So I go to confront them. 2L tells me that the guy came back but only to get some new stuffs from the van and needed to do extra repairs. Me: "Why didn't you tell him to move the van?" 2L: "He said it was only going to take 10 minutes. How is this an answer? Me: "I'm not interested in that. You need to move the van." Just relax. I am more pissed now. Me: "Listen, I kindly asked you to move the van. If you don't, I will call the police and have it removed." Alright, I will try to call him, but he probably won't answer." 2L calls the guy, but he won't answer the phone. 2L, laughing, she starts to show me the ringing phone as if this is something that I am supposed to be interested in. "See, he won't answer." "I don't care. You need to move the car. Why don't you tell me where he is? I will tell him." "He's in that building, but I don't know which apartment." I cannot ring every apartment just to find the idiot." I give a look inside the van and I see that he left the keys there. Me: "Hey, you have the key there. Why don't you move the van?" "Huh, are you crazy? He's gonna be mad." I don't care, you must move the van. Just relax, I cannot do anything. Just wait here and tell him when he comes back. Now I am really pissed. I don't say anything and I just start to walk in circles like a shark. After 10 minutes, fat electrician FE finally shows up. He is 6'5" tall and at least 420 pounds. I approach him, but he starts to shout at me first. FE, what is the problem? This is private property. You cannot park here. Move the van. Why can't you park inside? Me, I just can't, okay? Move the van or I call the police. You know what? Fine, call the police. He ignores me, gets some stuff from the van and went back to his work. Now, I could have called the police, but I'm not sure they would have had the van removed and I might have caused a big fuss for nothing. But police or not, those people were going to pay. Revenge mode on. I took pictures of their license plate and the name of their company with my phone, then got in my car, moved it and parked right behind them. I was like 1 to 2 inches from the back of their van. Stupid FE parked like 2 inches from the no parking sign. My car was behind it and a small wall was on their left. The right was free, but there's no way they could have maneuvered out of it. More important, the passage was now free and the residents could go in and out. I tell Double L I got their license and datas just in case they were trying to damage my car and that I would be back in a couple hours to move the car if I remembered to. I went back to my apartment and turned the TV on. After 10 minutes, I hear people screaming at the entrance. I took the interphone and asked what was the problem. FE is crazy angry and wants me to move the car. Alright, I got it, I'm coming. Went back to watch TV. Another 10 minutes pass and more screaming. This time I go. You have to move the car right now. Me, why? This is my property. You cannot block my way. I got work to do. Fine, call the police. I'm not sure the police would have removed his stupid van, but sure as hell they were not going to remove my car from my property. At this point, FE is really mad and starts screaming obscenities. One thing I didn't notice, he had a lot of large electrical stuff on the ground, cables and others. But he couldn't put it back in because his stupid van didn't have a lateral entrance but only in the back, where my car blocks the way. Why am I telling this? Because it is starting to rain. All his stupid things could get damaged. I notice he also understood the situation, so I say, Okay, how about I do you a favor? I will move my car, but you will have to pay me, say 50 euros? Are you effing with me? As you wish, you can pay me or call the police and see if they give a crap about you. If you don't pay, I will move the car in a couple more hours. FE starts screaming more obscenities, get into the van and comes back with my money. I take my money and move the car. FE and 2L load their stuff and leave at full speed. No one should ever be in my spot. And ripe stars, that is what I would call textbook parking spot revenge. Did you ever have any conflicts with possible neighbors or maybe entitled visitors about parking spots? Let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, please don't forget to also post some star emojis in the comments if you enjoy my content. Thank you very much in advance, your help is very much appreciated. And the next one is titled, I told her not to F with my dog. Let me start off by saying that I love my dog. This story starts a couple years ago in a small but very nice and quiet neighborhood. Most people own their homes and everyone takes pride in ownership, besides the house next to mine. The house next to mine is Section 8, meaning government assistance / welfare pays all the bills. Well, let's call her Fraggle Rock because she looks like one. This woman moves in and immediately starts partying. I mean like an everyday, all-day booze and drug fest. She is selling pills, smoking crack and doing heroin on her back porch, throwing trash, drug bags everywhere, all over my property, brings her druggy crew around my house and keeps my family up really late with their loudness. I really dislike her at this point, but I ignore her. Her boyfriend is extremely violent and they beat each other constantly. The 4-year-old child she has is dirty looking, neglected with behavior problems and has to witness all this crap. It was awful, but none of my business. I spoke to the Fraggle one time when she first moved in. I explained I had a really big dog and to just ignore her as she barks a lot but will eventually get used to her like she had with the other neighbors. We were actually removing a swing set off of the property line when I spoke to her. Our 6-foot privacy fence was put up about 15 foot away from where our property actually ended, and I have seen she had a small child, and I did not want to get sued because her child got hurt on it, meaning my property. The landlord lives in a different state and is very absentee. He is also an a-hole. Fast forward a couple months, most of my family went on vacation to another state for an entire month, and as soon as I returned, not even 2 hours later, I am hauling suitcases from the trunk of my car. Mr. Out-of-State landlord comes by and says his tenant is complaining about me looking in her windows and we need to stay on our side of the fence. That brings about an argument. First of all, I can be on my property all I want, and second of all, we have been out of state for a month and haven't been on that side of our property since the Fraggle moved in and we removed the swing set. I told the landlord I will be moving my fence closer to the property line. I am unsure where all the accusations came from. Her crack smoking probably had everything to do with her bogus claims. I was now agitated with this woman, and she even went as far as to call city officials the day I started moving my fence after we called her over and showed her our survey spikes. Around this time I noticed our Mastiff, who was treated badly by previous owners and behaves like a guard dog, has taken a particular disliking for them, so I start watching out my window when I hear her growling. I wish I hadn't seen what I saw. One of her daily regular buyers was jamming a stick through my fence and into my dog's face. He actually broke my effing fence doing it. I ran outside and screamed, "You damn a-hole, you will pay for this!" I was upset and my dog had a mark on her face. He ran inside and I seen the Fraggle peeking out from behind her curtain, laughing. The very next day the little boy is beating on my fence with a hammer and my dog is on the other side flipping out. I yelled at him to get his mother now, but she would not come out to talk to me. A few more days later the kid is throwing dirt into my dog's eyes over my fence. The next day he is back with the hammer. I go to City Hall and ask the lady there to contact the landlord ASAP and give him my phone number. I never got a call back. Another incident happens with the same original drug buyer friend of hers. He is smoking a blunt with the little child only feet away and my dog is barking. I am right there in my backyard and see and smell it all. He kicked a hole in my fence and actually kicked my dog as well. That was it. I had it. I went to the police, not something I would normally do, but I didn't want to lose my dog when one of these a-holes gets bit. I talked to the cop, we discussed the entire situation, the parties, drug deals, the domestic violence, and he told me the only way to get her out since she was Section 8 and the landlord was uncooperative was to call in her drug deals and she would be kicked off government assistance as soon as she was convicted. It only took 1 day of calls and, I kid you not, 17 calls the first day, all with license plate numbers. The next day I heard her yell talking to one of her drug fiend girlfriends. Her voice was always loud and shrieky, so I can hear and understand most of her outside conversations from my living room. About a bunch of her friends getting locked up the day before, and she didn't understand why or how this was happening. At this point I believe the cops called CPS. They started coming around, but she was not answering the door. One day she left the child unattended and he was playing on the main street. A family around here noticed and walked the little boy home, but no one was home to watch him. CPS was waiting out front this time. She somehow still had her kid after that, but not for long. There was one more incident with my dog. A different druggy friend decided it was a good idea to pelt my dog with rocks. I couldn't believe this was happening still and was beside myself the hell I was going through. I was in my yard all the time because I had to be. It was a serious inconvenience to be in the yard every time my dog wanted to be outside, but I felt like it was the only way to make sure these people did not harm her. I lost my mind that last time and started pelting this guy back with rocks. The Fraggle was on her back porch knocked out and she awoke briefly to let out a snorty pig laugh like it was a damn game. The Fraggle likes to drink and drive. Since the drug deals only got her buddies busted and not her, I decided I would wait and watch and call in her next drunk driving adventure. She had to go. It didn't take very long. A few days later her violent scumbag boyfriend stole her purse and jumped into her car that was waiting and took off. I heard her scream, "My pills, give me my pills!" I see her stumble to her car completely crab-faced, hop in and peel wheels in hot pursuit. I call it in. The poor child was outside in the snow barefoot. That is a perfect example of her priorities. The cops arrested her, and I knew that because CPS came the next day after the child never went to school. They found the little boy there all alone, just how he had been the whole night. That woman was too worried about getting in trouble to disclose to the cops that she left the child, a 4-year-old, home alone. Really sad, but hopefully he has a new family now, or at least will one day. The Fraggle returns a day later, no car, and she stops going to whatever job welfare forced her to have. The violent boyfriend must have been in jail still from her purse snatching incident, because there is a new scumbag boyfriend hanging around with track marks visible a mile away. Well, a violent boyfriend gets out of jail and runs up in the house. I seen the whole thing as my doggy is freaking out. Dope head boyfriend and violent boyfriend start fighting. There's a bed and blood. I decide this is my chance to get the cops in the house and finally get these damn pieces of trash out. It was a sight. Cops come, guns drawn, Dopehead runs inside and violent BF runs through the other neighbor's yard. In the end, they all went to jail. Unfortunately, it was not the complete end. When she got out of jail, she smashed the back window and squatted there for about a week. I didn't bother calling the cops because I knew the house was getting damaged, and it felt good knowing the landlord would have to fix it and Section 8 will not pay for damages. Fraggle is gone. I have seen her once around town. She is living on the streets, lost everything, and she really had it all, and her life was so easy living off of the government. I told her not to F with my dog. She should have listened. And I have to say, guys, that was one of the more drastic revenge stories that we have read recently, and I would love to hear your opinion about this one. I gotta say, I feel really bad for the child in the story, because that child definitely did not deserve to have such parents. And Ripe stars, unfortunately, we have already reached the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the content. However, if you cannot wait for more Ripe content, then I suggest you head on over to patreon.com/ripeyoutube, where you can find more exclusive Reddit content read by me. Patreon subscriptions start at just $1 per month, and for $1 your name will show up at the end of each of my new videos. However, if you are willing to spend $3 per month, you will get access to more than 50 exclusive Reddit videos, mostly just no mother-in-law stories. However, please understand, I don't want to pressure anyone into spending money, because I am already incredibly grateful that you watch my videos every single day. Thank you so much for your daily support, it really means the world to me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow for the next video.